had the accomplishments that my guest has. Of course, my resume is boring as hell. How about this, huh? Ended the Cold War. No, Mikhail Gorbachev is not in the studio. Brought Egypt and Israel together in the late 70s and has kept Florida hurricane-free for the past 12 years. That's just a few of his accomplishments. And he's only 10. No, he's a lot older than that. And you're going to meet him in about 90 seconds on WJNO.
With Out and About on the Coast, your insider's guide to what's happening. I'm Kenneth Goolsby.
Hello, and welcome once again to Rock Theater.
Just about to go to the stage here, ladies and gentlemen, for Reginald Keene.
Lunch, 11:09 at AM 1230 and AM 1330 on the Lee Fowler Show. Welcome in. It's hour number 3. By the way, I want to thank everybody for 2 fantastic hours of stories that are so true, right? And yet, when you hear them, you know they happened, but it's still very scary, isn't it? Still very scary about the rudeness in South Florida. Okay. Unbelievable what you claim to have done.
Yeah, I would agree. But it's true.
Well, that's it. Hey, if you got it, flaunt it. This gentleman's name is Jualt, although it's not spelled that way. It's spelled J-U-L-T. Jualt Christos.
Yeah, it's like Juan.
Well, if it was Juan, it would be J-A-U-N or something.
Yeah, so it's J-U-A-L-T.
Exactly. Only we got it spelled here J-A-U-L-T, which probably means we got it screwed up again.
Correct.
Exactly. Well, listen, that's the way it goes. Anyway, welcome to WJNO. Jualt Christos, 38 years old, right?
Yep.
Psychic.
Yep.
And typesetter by
profession.
By profession. And psychic who claims that he ended the Cold War.
Well, actually, I'd say I had an influence, that I put their minds together and forced them to talk at a time when they were not talking.
And them being Mikhail Gorbachev and Ronald Reagan, I guess, at the time, right?
Right.
Now, you know, I got to tell you, I am a skeptic.
Fair.
Okay? I mean, going into this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to poke fun at you. But I'm a...
that's fine.
At least not till the second hour.
Okay.
I mean, I'm... I am, I'm a non-believer. I mean, I think there is a great potential to the human mind that is untapped in the majority of
I believe
people in our, that we meet every day.
Yeah, I think everybody has a psychic potential.
Psychic potential.
Yeah.
How do you define psychic powers in your, Walt, in your mind?
Liberally is to include anything that a person can do without using any of their other physical senses.
Do you believe in mind control? Can you do things with your mind? We've heard the bending the spoon and the starting the watches that haven't worked in 1,800 years. Can you do those things, too?
I can't do those things. I believe some people might be able to.
Mm-hmm.
I have not honestly seen it done.
All right, what is the... by the way, I want to mention that Walt is featured very prominently in the Weekly World News, boy, and if it wasn't true, the Weekly World News...
That's certainly...
They wouldn't print it. By the way, how did they hear about you?
I guess from another newspaper report, and they picked up on that.
Picked up on the story and
their clipping service.
Right, and just went on from there. Did they actually contact you in Lake Worth?
Yes, they did. Unlisted in the book. Every year, I send out a pledge saying that I'm going to protect a specified area from hurricanes, and then the newspapers pick up on that. So the Weekly News contacted me because of that, but that's sort of a regional issue, and they were looking for something bigger. So they said, what else have you done? So
we just kind of matter-of-factly mentioned that I ended the Cold War and brought Egypt and Israel together in the late 70s. And, by the way, is Florida going to remain hurricane-free this year?
I'm certainly going to try to keep it that way.
Is there a problem? I mean, you claim to have done it for 12 years.
Yeah, I claim to have influence, not total control. That's why I tell people to always listen to authorities. Don't sit back on your laurels and think, well, Walt's going to protect us. I'm going to try to protect you. I'm going to use my ability the best way I can, but still listen to authorities, because it's an unpredictable thing that you're dealing with.
Well, you, according to this article, Walt, you have you use what are called alpha wave visualization. What the hell does that mean?
Well, that's one of many things. Alpha is a brainwave frequency. They're actually divided into 4 levels, I guess, and there's awake, which is beta. I don't want to go into
Can you hold on a second?
Detail.
You don't have to listen to this, Vic. He's talking about brainwaves. Go ahead.
All right. Any rate, with the alpha waves are simply a relaxed brainwave. It's just above total sleep, and it can be accessed from an awake state of being. It's where your daydreams occur.
Here are the monkeys with the Daydream Believer. That's where your daydreams occur.
That's where the daydreams
Okay, so you use this alpha wave.
I visualize within my own mind what I want to see occur, and that casts a, say, vibration outward. Some psychics are good at receiving, others are good at projecting. Healers, for instance, would be projectors. I am a projector or a scanner rather than a receiver.
Now, you claim, or as reported here, and maybe they didn't get it right, Jack Alexander, the reporter, Weekly World News, that you had a vision of God? God has spoken to you?
Yeah.
Did he say, do the Fowler show?
He didn't mention that at the time.
God did not say, do the Fowler show.
You were probably too young when he said it.
You've seen God how long ago?
I was 6 years old.
You were 6 years old. You had a vision of God.
I was at Bethesda by the Sea, which is a local church, and I was literally struck down by a blinding white light, and God at that point spoke to me, and I became unconscious, and I woke up, and I was outside of the church with a bunch of people crowded around me. I looked up. I said, why me? Why me? And they said, have you eaten breakfast today? And I thought that was sort of amusing at the time.
Wow, they figured you were on the flat of your back because you'd missed a meal?
Missed a meal.
Well, what did God say to you? He said you had a vision of God. He struck you down. You saw this you were blinded by the light. Here's Manfred Mann.
Yes, it's the
you were blinded by the light. Randy's not sure whether you're for real in there. That's why he's not playing the laugh tracks, in case you want to turn him into a frog a little bit later on.
No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't do that. Okay, so what is God like? Not what is he like, but what is God? I mean, what did you see? What do you remember?
Well, actually, I was given a series of visions from 1960 through 1978. And I guess you could say I was given teachings, philosophy, history, potential human futures, and the past. And the information was so comprehensive, and there was no way that I could have had that information within my own mind, that I knew that at least the information was coming to me from outside of myself. And as I said, I didn't jump blindly, and God asked me to do several things, all right?
For example?
Well, let's say I wrote a book and wrote them all down, because it is extremely left field. If you want to get into it, I'm more than happy to.
Well, God gave you some things he wanted you to do some things?
He wanted me to do some things.
And you wrote them down. You wrote down so you remember. And you put them in a book. What was the title of the book?
A Book with No Name.
Here's a horse with no name. Here's America. Now, wait a minute. God wants you to do some stuff.
Yeah, he did. And so in return, that's where the hurricane protection pledge came
Well,
from.
let me stop you here for just a second. The psychic ability, in your case, but not in all cases, is it linked religiously?
No, I'd say that psychic potential is part of being human. It probably has a genetic base to give you a certain range, and after that you have to learn it. No matter how much potential you may have, you still have to learn to harness it. And even those with next to nothing in psychic potential can still learn to develop it.
All right, you had a second vision.
Yeah, okay, where I was coming to was God asked me to do certain things, and so in return, I asked God to show support. So the Hurricane Protection Pledge is essentially what I asked God to do.
In other words, you said, okay, God, if you want me to do ba-ba-ba-ba-ba,
Right,
you've got to protect this area from hurricanes.
Yeah.
To show a sign of good faith.
A sign of good
You know,
faith.
God isn't the God I've known. He's not one who likes to bargain. I mean, you've got to take him at his word, or
well, put it this
you
way.
become a pillar of salt.
His position
Or a
doesn't
Taco
change.
Bell stand,
A
you know.
Taco Bell stand.
Yeah. But you had a little conversation with him and said, look, I'm not going to go make a fool out of myself
Correct.
with all these things you want me to do unless, hey, what's in it for me?
You know, you got to simply show some support back, and I would say that God has done so.
And what did he say to you, though? What did he say? What are you, nuts? I'm God.
Well, I don't know if you really want that information. How about if I just say read the book, unless you really do?
And the book is out there called A Book with No
A
Name?
book with no name.
All right, well, you had a vision of God. I mean, if I had a vision...
Well, I'll tell you about the last vision, the one in 78.
That was the one in Key West?
That was the one in Key West that got me to agree, because I'd resisted up till then. I mean, I listened, I lived my life in decent ways, normal ways, like anybody else would, all right?
You're going downhill now, though, doing the show.
Yeah, but that happens, you know.
Yeah, well, we all slip, don't we?
Yeah, well, that's why they have recovery groups.
I understand. That's true. I get you one of those bumper stickers that I hope Bob Benson is making up for me.
Oh, what
How
is
do
it?
I get the hell out of here?
How do I get the hell out of here? Well, Scotty's out, right?
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, you've had this vision in Key West.
I had a vision in Key West. Basically, what it told me was that unless I accepted what God had asked me to do,
Previously.
that it would be time to call a judgment upon humanity, and that at that point in time, the judgment would be for Armageddon. All right? And since I consider this somewhat, say, severe, I agreed.
I would imagine, yeah. But you consulted, I believe, some ministers,
Yeah, I did.
priests.
I actually had a mixed result on that, and that I went to a church and I asked them, is what I'm doing, is it sinful, is it suicidal, am I crazy, what is going on? And the first priest that I talked to simply dismissed me out of hand.
Said what? You're misguided. You've had too much to drink.
Well, I was.
You're not like Bill Clinton. You evidently inhale. I mean, after you've told all of these things.
Well, yeah, and, they didn't treat me like Pat Robertson either, as far as that went. But so the second priest that I talked to was more understanding in that he told me it could be true, and that as long as I was doing God's will, then I was not sinning, and that was my concern.
So what has God asked you to do? Are you going to tell us some of the things God has... Did God have anything to do with... did God ask you to help end the Cold War?
No, but that was part of my purpose in interacting with, say, humanity as a whole.
All right, Jualt Christos is here at AM 1230 and AM 1330, mentioned prominently in the July 28th, 1992 Weekly World News, and he's going to continue... Page 33. And he's going to continue his conversation with us. We're going to talk about psychics, if they're basically charlatans. And probably a lot of them are.
I would say so.
All right, let me take this break, Randy, and we'll start with you because I don't have my book. At AM 1230, at AM 1330 on a Lee Fowler Show.
The man who never bites off more than he can chew. Lee Fowler.
At AM 1230 and AM 1330 on a Lee Fowler Show, and Walt is here. Now, you seem like a pretty unassuming guy. You're kind of laid back.
Yeah, I would agree.
But, you've taken a lot of credit here. You're showing a lot of chutzpah, saying I protect Florida for 12 years. Also, I ended the Cold War. I don't think even Ronald Reagan would say that.
Well, I only say that I had influence, that I got them to talk and communicate. Anything they did on their own after that was they get full credit for. As far as protecting Florida, I only really protect up to Gainesville, Ocala, Ormond Beach. I don't protect all of it. I protect the primary area. That's a place where I've been and can see in my own mind.
Oh, okay. Are we protected here?
Yeah, we're protected here.
Okay, good, because this building can't take much of a, strong wind. Anyway, well, let's be honest. Anyway, you also...
You mean outside the building?
Yeah, they take a lot of the strong wind inside. Now, you also claim to have brought Egypt and Israel together?
Yes.
In the 70s?
Yes.
How did you do that?
Again, just linking their minds and forcing them to talk. At that time, that was Begin and Sadat. And for what it's worth, the impressions that you get in the...
Here's a Buffalo Springfield, by the way.
Yeah.
For what it's worth.
For what it's worth.
1967.
Man, Sadat was very, say, amicable and friendly on that level, but Begin was resistant. And it took a lot of pushing, and I'd have to give Carter most of the credit on that one.
Well, he didn't give you any credit.
That's fine.
Carter didn't.
Well, you never know.
Are there any other big world events, things that we would know about that you feel you had a hand in?
I'd have to think on that. Off the top of my head, no, not
You
really.
weren't responsible for putting a man on the moon?
No.
Oh, you won the Gulf War?
I didn't win the Gulf War, but I interacted with the people involved in that with mixed results. They put one report in the Weekly World News, which was just, say, part of the picture. And the full picture was prior to the war, when Bush was refusing to negotiate. And, Saddam was holding on to Kuwait. I did believe that he should get out of Kuwait, but what I did was I put their minds together, and I approached...
Who had the better mind, by the way, George Bush or Saddam Hussein?
Well, interestingly enough...
Saddam.
It was Saddam who was the...
If you put George Bush next to a jackass, and the jackass would have a better mind, right?
Well, it surprised me. It surprised
Didn't
me.
surprise us.
Yeah, okay.
But we're going to vote for him again. So you were involved a little in that, too. Now, what about psychics in general? I mean, look, you turn on the TV, you know, you can have your own personal psychic, dial this 1-900 number, and find out what kind of a day it's going to be.
I'd say it's a mixed bag out there. There's some that are...
There's some old bags out there, too,
Yeah,
that are doing a psychic thing. I don't want to mention their names, but we know who they are. Don't we, Mickey? Anyway... No, seriously, there are people that claim to be psychics and can take... Is any of that true?
It's a mixed bag.
I mean, can a psychic give you a reading?
I've seen it done.
I mean, they can give you a reading, but I mean, is it true?
I've seen... I've done some things that even surprise me as far as that goes.
For example, someone has come to you and asked for advice?
Well, in, say, 1972, I took a course called Silva Mind Control, which is a program that trains psychics how to harness their ability. In order to graduate that course, one of the things they did was they would present me with simply 2 initials and the gender of the person, and I would have to tell the teacher what was wrong with that person as far as what kind of a physical ailment, if any.
So they didn't tell you if it was a he or a she?
No, that's all they told me.
They just gave...
They gave me the initials and the gender.
Oh, they did tell you if it was a he or a she. And just said that you didn't see the person? You didn't touch the person?
Nothing.
Didn't touch a photograph of the person?
Correct.
And you were supposed to be able to tell the instructor of this course what was wrong with these people, or what was on their mind. Were these physical ailments, or were they worried about perhaps a job?
No, they were all health problems.
They were all health-related problems.
Or no problem.
Or no problem.
Or no
So
problem.
they stuck a few placebos in there.
Correct.
Absolutely. A few ringers.
A few ringers.
As we say in the biz.
I would agree that there are a lot of psychics out there that are more interested in making money than in helping people, and that there are a lot that might be considered to be fakes that are just capitalizing on other people's hope. And
well, let me put it on the other shoe. Why would somebody who is thinking about a major decision, and I've, in the early days of talk, I mean, psychics were on every 10 minutes. Why would somebody who otherwise is normal call you, let's just say you were doing these readings, and said, listen, Walt, I'm thinking of investing, all the money I have in this little taco stand over in by Century Village, and I want to know whether I'm going to be successful. Why would they call you? Why wouldn't they call the Small Business Administration?
well, actually, they should keep all their options open and do as many things as they can. I guess they would call...
But, I mean, they don't want to lose their money. They want somebody to say, hey, this is a good investment.
Well, first of all, that isn't my thing, so don't call me and ask me to do those
All right, don't call him to ask him to do those damn things, because he's not going to do them.
Right, but in general, people...
But you can call and ask me, and I'll tell you.
Yeah. They're just seeking further information, and if these people have got a reputation...
Well, I've been on shows where they've called up and said, look, I'm thinking of having this operation. My doctor doesn't know if it'll be good for me, it'll be bad for me. And, and you will say, not you, but the psychic will say, oh, go ahead, it's okay, everything's going to be all right. Hey, great, and there they go. They go they're wheeled into the operating room, even as we speak.
Yeah.
Boy, we brought you some food here, too, huh?
Good.
How about that? Well, you knew it was going to be good, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Boy, look at the size of that pork chop.
I'd heard that about
Unbelievable. And the one on the plate isn't bad either.
Yeah.
Just kidding, KJ. Unbelievable. This must be Palm Beach Cafe. Thanks, guys. You had us a little worried. I don't mind telling you. You're not here about 11:02. I start worrying. Yeah, exactly. I start worrying. That's true. Thank you. You guys are great. Anyway, bring me their cards, too, Kate. Oh, you brought them in here? She put them somewhere? I don't know. I'll find them later. Under the plate? I didn't see them here. Anyway, I got it right here. Yeah, okay, got them here. Got Sam, and John and Sam are working together. They're two double-teaming me here from Palm Beach Cafe.
Making sure you...
By the way, we got veggies, black beans, and rice. We got raspberry iced tea, or so it says. We've got stuffed pork chops, coffee, Caesar salad, cheesecake, and strawberries, and not bad, huh?
Yeah, it looks delicious.
Well, it's great. You'll be able to chow down here in a couple of moments. But again, why would people do this? I mean, ask for medical advice.
I guess, okay. They believe that these psychics will be able to give them true information that might be beyond normal reading as far as that goes. They may have lost faith in doctors. They may have lost...
well, that's a good start.
Yeah, well, it does happen. And so that's what it's all about.
Boy, it sounds good. This is a great pork chop, by the way. You'll be able to get into it just a little bit.
Yeah, it looks good.
Don't give Roger any of that pork chop. Anyway, it's AM 1230 and AM 1330. What do you... you're a typesetter.
Yeah.
It's a good profession.
Yeah, it is.
But you're evidently not using your abilities to make a lot of money.
No, that isn't what it's
I mean,
all about.
you could use your abilities to make a lot of money. Boy, look at that cheesecake. And on the plate, it isn't bad either. Mm-hmm. Just kidding, KJ. Unbelievable.
Pretty good stuff.
Anyway, why aren't you using your psychic abilities, if you got them, to make a fortune, to make a ton of money?
Well, first of all, I don't know that I could. Second of all, that actually isn't my thing. I like my own freedom. And this allows me, as long as I don't take money for what I do, I can say no. And it gives me freedom to do what I want. If I was doing it, I'd be trapped. Even just from the Weekly World News article, I was deluged. I got like 30 phone calls from people that wanted things, anything from wealth to health, and or would I hurt someone for them, and that sort of stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Somebody would call and say, we want you to put a voodoo spell on somebody?
Not exactly a voodoo spell, but I would have the ability to touch them within my own mind to
Is that right?
have a negative influence. Well, it's like everybody carries an energy level, right?
Oh, I've got one.
Yeah.
As I start putting in this food, that energy level starts really cranking out.
Well, you're like a sponge. All I'd have to do is like infuse you with a bunch of negativity, and you'd attract a bunch of negative events to you. And but I don't do that sort of thing. It's not my forte.
But you could. You're claiming that you could do that.
I could do that.
Now, with all the evil in the world today, I mean, with all the evil in the world today, some people would say, if you have that power, why don't you use it?
Well,
I mean, if you know somebody is really a rotten, stinking human being, a lowlife, a murderer, a child abuser, a Ted Bundy, so to speak,
well,
you wouldn't use your powers to stop that person?
I might.
So if the condition was right.
The condition is right. It isn't something I would do for money. And I would probably do it along what I call karmic lines.
Karmic lines?
Karmic lines. Yeah, well, that just means that I do what I call calling karma. And that is if a person does something nasty and I call karma on them, they'll get their energy back. Usually 3 days to 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
Could you heal people? Not from bad problems or bad habits, but actual health problems.
I've been able to help people, but I prefer that people go to doctors. I really do, because the second they start looking at psychics as the cure-all, they start neglecting the real treatment. And I don't want them doing that.
All right. Okay, we'll take a break. We'll take some calls, and if you would like to speak to Jualt Christos, who claims, among other things, just matter-of-factly, that he ended the Cold War, brought Egypt and Israel together in the late 70s. Exactly. And we've got no hurricanes for 12 years, thanks to Jualt. Hey, if you want to talk to the guy, and maybe you think you've got some psychic powers, because I know there are people out there that take it seriously. And here's a guy that discovered one day, after God knocked him on his ass, right, with a blinding light, knocked him down, that he had these powers. And you may have some questions about it. You may have seen something. And it happened. There are people that do that. They see things and they just dismiss it.
Yeah,
and then later on it happens. We'll continue our conversation. We'll get you involved too, right after this pork chop. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. until noon. By the way, if you, as I said, Walt here's not going to do any readings for you. All right, I mean, he's not into that, right? You're not.
Correct.
We'll cut those people off. But you have a question about a world problem.
World problems.
You could address that.
Psychic matters or metaphysics in general.
All right. We going to find a cure for AIDS?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, we appreciate your honesty. Let's take some calls here. Barbara, West Palm Beach, WJNO. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
I would like to know, I have two questions.
Sure.
I would like to know whether your guest has, if anybody in his family has this gift, either in this generation or past generations. And number two, has he used this gift in the recent past?
All right. Any family history of psychic ability, Walt?
The answer to both questions is yes. My mother has got a phenomenal ability to read, and that would probably be about it. My sister...
But when you say read, what do you mean read? You mean do personal readings?
in a matter of seconds, with contact from a person or a name of a person, she could know most everything about them.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. But can she look into the future?
I don't think so, no.
Oh, okay. All right, and you used your gift recently in what manner? Can you tell us?
Well, my hurricane protection pledge is current.
Yeah, we haven't had a hurricane.
That's use of it, and then I fulfill little requests from friends for weather now and then. I have a friend who doesn't like it to rain when he drives, and if it's pouring and he's going to drive, he calls me and asks me to stop it for him while he's doing it. I had a request from a girl in Delray to make it cooler down here.
I got a request. I'd like to meet a nice girl from Delray. Oh, well, that's another show.
Now I could actually fulfill that.
Holy smoke, how about that, huh?
Well, you'd have to seize the opportunity,
Right.
as they say.
Barbara, has he answered your question?
Oh, yes, very well.
Well, thank you. All right, where are we going now? Mr. Data, car phone.
Hey, how you doing? How does he know? He's sure that he's the one doing this.
I'd say I'm just one influence, that there are many influences.
Well, there are many?
There are many influences. The only thing that I would say is that since, 1980, I've sent a letter each year saying that I would do this.
How are you sure that you even have an influence in this and there's just no hurricane has ever hit? See, I wrote a program for a company that does readings.
What kind of reading?
Readings for people. They call up and people get readings, and it's actually my program sitting around, and it's kind of like an artificial intelligence program that just goes and does a reading for someone.
That sounds very interesting. What kind of...
They're psychic people that basically all they do is input the information, and the program tells them what to say, and they're not really psychic. It's just the program is a little bit artificial intelligence, just, just blabbing.
Do you believe in what you're doing?
Huh?
Do you believe in what you're doing?
To do psychic, it's just a program that plays around with people's mind is all it is.
And how much money do you get for doing it?
Yeah, how much money, Mr. Data?
I got pretty much.
He's got time to call this show.
Yeah,
He's got
from a car phone.
From a car phone, which is a clear car phone, not the cheap ones that I've heard previously.
Well, that goes back to what you're saying. Again, you really have to watch yourself with the psychics out there.
Okay, sir?
Well, listen, Lee.
Yeah.
They wanted me to tell them right on Palm Beach Lake Boulevard is a terrible accident right here, and it's mileage backs up all the way down to 45th Street.
Palm Beach Lakes?
Right now.
On 95?
On I-95?
I-95 and Palm Beach Lake Boulevard. They got somebody up in the middle of the road with a neck brace and everything. Oh, it's terrible.
And traffic is tied up which way?
It's going south.
Going south?
Yeah.
Maybe you should confirm this.
Yeah, well, we're going to confirm it. That's why we woke up Charlie in the newsroom.
Okay, but hey, I just saw it.
Thank you, sir. Hey, we appreciate it.
Bye.
All right, AM 1230, AM 1330. I never even gave out the numbers. If you have a question for Walt, and again, not personal reading, but anything else, he claims to have ended the Cold War, brought the Egyptians and the Israelis together. Also claims that because of his efforts, among others, that for 12 years, we've not had a hurricane in South Florida, and he's on the mound again during hurricane season. If you'd like to speak with him, 655, tell me, 655 WJNO, 655-9566 in the Palm Beaches. Elsewhere, it's 930-9566. And as you can tell, Star J&O on those cellulars, that Walt only deals in the big stuff.
Yeah.
He's not piddling around. Have you ever been asked to help in a crime?
No, I haven't. Not exactly. A friend of mine was robbed, and he asked me for an impression of where the person might be.
And you said a bad guy.
Well, no, where, not who. Where.
Oh, okay.
And I gave him what I thought might be the case, and it actually turned out to be true.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I would like to see studies done as to, you take a psychic with some kind of a proven track record and have them examined. I am most curious as to why these things work. And there's nothing out there to teach people, and a lot of it's hit and miss. I know that some of the methods I use are accurate because I have been able to teach them to others and have them do things.
Do you think psychics can help law enforcement?
Yeah, I think they have in many
Or help
many
find,
cases.
killers or missing people?
Yeah, depending upon the abilities. Those kind of abilities, they pick up a reading. They get an impression of the person who did it or of the place. It's just, again...
But we see it on television and in the movies that they go around and they touch something, perhaps that the missing person
that's what
may have worn or may, a personal item. Is that really how it works? I mean, is that how you do it? You pick it up and you get some good vibrations? Here are the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
You pick up you pick up a brush or something and
yes,
you get a reading. You get a feeling.
It's like if someone asked me to say, influence a weather, for instance, in an area far away like Wisconsin or Washington State, I ask them to send me an object from that state or to stay on a phone line and look outdoors, because then I'm touching them and they're in the place.
So these feelings, these vibrations can come over a phone line?
Yeah. To some degree, the logic is that we're all interconnected in a great big energy field, and it's just a matter of channeling that energy.
Mm-hmm.
And each person has a different ability to do it.
Okay, hold on. We're taking some more calls here. Where we go next? Nancy, Fort Lauderdale. Hi.
Hi. I'd just like to know, is he going to do anything as far as the Middle East problem now?
Right now, I'm neutral. I think that it's moving along pretty well, and I'm monitoring it, but that's about it. You know, you have to let them do it themselves or it won't be real. If you impose something on them, as soon as you back off from your imposition, then it goes back to what it was.
Are you pleased with the new government in Israel?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I predicted 6 years ago that it would be Rabin that brings peace.
How about that? Are you there, Nancy?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything
yeah,
else?
I just wondered if he's going to,
No, he said he's going to let it work its course right now. He likes the Rabin government, and he predicted 6 years ago that Rabin would be the one to bring peace to Israel.
Yeah, if they don't seem to stay on track, then I might talk with them. But for now, they're doing okay.
Oh.
So he doesn't want to rush things.
Right.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me. Good caller. Call us again.
Thank you.
Michael on a car phone. WJNO, Lee Fowler. Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, sir. Thank you.
Okay, it's first time caller, but anyway, I'm very interested in just the concept itself, not necessarily saying I'm a believer, but I'm very curious. One of the things I want to ask Walt is he familiar with Ruth Montgomery?
Yes, I am.
Okay. She has listed a series of events, I think up until 1999 when this is supposed to happen.
All right, well, for those who are not familiar, who is Ruth Montgomery?
But Ruth Montgomery is a psychic, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think both she and Gene Dixon may have predicted something to the effect that Chinese troops would aid a Mideast country in a big war, and she predicted this in the mid-'60s.
I don't think that is what Ruth Montgomery did now, maybe Gene Dixon, but here's what she is. First of all, Lee, in the past she was sort of like a job like yours. She was a very credible reporter, and kind of got forced in this, similar to what Walt was explaining to it for himself. The force forced her into it. She hated it because she didn't want to do this, which would obviously not give her credibility.
Right. Yeah, I was not left alone.
Okay, now, secondly, due to the fact she's forced into this, supposedly she has guides. Always, she's, let's say, conversing in the manner that you do converse with these people.
Correct.
Guides. And there's obviously bits of information that's always going on in her mind. Now, what she has said is that right now, which was she wrote way, at least 10 years ago, that there's going to be a series of events, a lot of volcanic eruptions, a lot of major earthquakes, to the point that we're going to have a global warming, and that there will be a melting of the north and south poles on a gradual basis, to the point there will be a tipping of the axis, which they might think that could have been the deal with Noah's Ark, meaning that there was obviously catastrophic storms and various things like this, and that possibly the Bahamas would be the new north or one of the poles, and obviously Florida will be wiped out. And I know it sounds fantastic and far out.
Well, you said gradual, and those kind of changes are scientifically forecast.
Yes. I don't know. I mean,
the axis shift is something that could actually occur at any time. It can occur any time you get a massive cold that then lingers and creates ice and shifts the mass of the Earth and creates a planet wobble.
And I don't know. It's just what the whole thing it is she's an extremely spiritual, God-loving being that none of this far out type of thing. It's just totally spiritual.
Okay.
And what I'm about to say is that we're going to come into a new order, such as we will not be so have so many denominations.
She's talking about what? One world religion or one world order?
One, not necessarily order, but at least relation.
Okay.
We will have love for each other.
We will.
Very good.
So.
Oh, boy, I hope while I'm still around to enjoy it.
Just a thought.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Well, it's not a bad thought. I mean, that's his first call, and look, you generated it. 9 minutes before noon at WJNO. I want to thank Sam Andrews from Palm Beach Cafe, 7635 South Dixie Highway, and his right-hand man, John, who brought lunch today. And, of course, they got 5 great locations at Palm Beach Cafe. We got pork chops, we got veggies, we got black beans and rice, that delicious raspberry iced tea, stuffed pork chops, coffee, Caesar salad, and the dreaded cheesecake. It's a great cheesecake with strawberries. And we'll chow down some more while you listen to this.
It's Tuesday, and it's time.
And Lee Fowler on
Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon. If you're just joining us here, a very unassuming man by the name of Jualt Christos, who claims he's saved the world. No, he hasn't saved the world, but he ended the Cold War and all of that.
Yeah, well,
Are you going to help Clinton or Bush get elected? Or neither?
At the moment, neither.
Neither?
Neither.
Were you a Perot guy?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was
But
I'm
you-
neither across the board.
You're going to stay neutral on this one, too?
Yeah.
You wouldn't try to help one or the other?
No.
Even if it was close?
No. I'll
Okay.
vote.
David, Lake Worth, WJNO, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
You're on the air. Go ahead.
Okay. Just going to ask Walt a simple question and make a comment. One is your involvement with the Gulf War and Saddam Hussein. My memory serves me. I happen to know Walt, so we'll just go from there. My memory serves me. You spoke to me a few days before a very interesting article came out in the paper about that you had contacted Saddam Hussein psychically. And then, lo and behold, about 3 or 4 days later was the article in the paper where Saddam Hussein had the dream about Mohammed talking to him concerning the Gulf War, which, of course, I found most fascinating.
Yeah.
And you had told me that you went to him, or at least appeared to him in his mind as
The Mahdi.
as the Mohammed figure. I was just curious about that, and also just wanted you to make a comment about the fact that you did. It is true that you passed Randy's test, isn't that true?
Yeah, that was years ago, though.
Yeah, I know, years ago. But
That's the great Randy?
still
Okay.
very important information.
Well, she was great. She wasn't amazing. Oh, you mean? Oh, I'm sorry. You mean the? Oh, okay. That Randy. I thought you meant Randy Martin.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I haven't passed her test, but I'd be willing to try.
Whoa! Well, she's in Orlando now, playing 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Well, what was Saddam Hussein like when you were in his mind?
Well, as I said, I went to him as the Mahdi Christos in part to gain some influence with him. And he was
Well, he didn't get out of Kuwait. We had to kick his ass out.
No, he didn't, but he did go to the newspapers, and he did say what I had told him.
Mm-hmm.
On the other case with Bush, I told Bush to wait at least 3 months before
Let the
launching a
sanctions
ground war.
work?
Yeah, to give it a chance. And
He didn't listen to you either.
No, he did. He waited the 3 months.
Was it 3 months?
Yeah, exactly to the day. And he also he went to the newspapers and said that he was not given to flights of the imagination. And I thought it was interesting that he would say something like that at that time.
What's his mind like? Big, vast, open space?
No, it was very cold and closed.
Cold?
Cold and closed.
And closed.
Whereas Saddam was warm and friendly. And I thought that really
A lot like Jack Cole? Cold, closed?
Perhaps.
Oh. Vicky's in there applauding Jack. You may want to make a note.
At any rate, I felt that Bush had the better position, but as far as who had
Well,
the
he sure
better
did.
manners...
He had the whole world on his side.
Yeah, but Saddam had the better manners.
And every weapon in the world. Okay, sir, thanks for your call.
Thank you.
Boy, these people are interested in what you have to say. Gordon, Palm Beach, hi.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
I was wondering if, this karma thing came to me about why you weren't getting these bumper stickers from Bob Benson. And Bob hasn't made those bumper stickers because he's not in town.
He's not in town?
No.
Well, what kind of karma is that?
He's in Wisconsin.
What the hell's he doing? Oh, he's going to bring back about 8 tons of cheese.
You better believe it. All those pickles.
Oh, gee, he'll be in a pickle when he gets back here. When's he coming back, by the way?
It just came.
It did come to you. Well, listen, did it come to you when he's coming back?
Yeah, he's coming back in a week or so. He's going to make a stop by Mayo's, then he's coming back.
Okay. How's he doing, by the way, health-wise, okay?
He seems to be doing well.
Good. Glad to hear that.
Okay.
Listen, thanks for your call.
You're welcome.
And say hello to Carmen for me. AM 1230, AM 1330, Lee Fowler Show. Nancy Jupiter, hi.
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 Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm eating lunch.
Me too. What do you have?
I'm eating spaghetti and cheese.
Oh, okay. We only got 2 minutes, so go ahead.
Don't talk about pork chops. I'm a vegetarian. I wanted to ask if dowsing is related to psychic ability.
Dowsing?
Yeah.
What is dowsing?
Finding water,
Yeah.
wells,
Oh, is that right?
with a twit with a stick. They walk around, and when the stick bends, they found water.
Yeah.
Have you heard about that? I know you
Yes.
have heard. about that.
Yeah.
I have that ability with food.
I know.
I walk through a building and...
And food leaps up at you.
No, if I start to double over, that means there's food on somebody's desk or somewhere.
I believe it.
It's called gouging.
Oh,
It's not called dousing.
Radar.
you're right.
Exactly.
I'll be a straight lady for you any day.
Is this a, well, you don't find those anymore.
That's right.
Is this a psychic ability that is dousing, or is it
I don't
more scientific?
know. It could be like a radar, or it could be
Yeah.
just a natural attraction between the wood and the water.
I don't know.
Could be. Well, anyway, listen, thanks for your
You're
call.
welcome. I just want to tell you, Jeannie Dixon made a prediction about me once.
What did she say?
Not a great big major thing, but it was very interesting.
She said you'd eventually call the Lee Fowler show, and she was right. Hey, thank you, Walt. Good luck.
Bye-bye.
Mike Miller's back from vacation. See you tomorrow a little before 9 with John Picano. Between now and then, keep the peace.
You've been listening to Lee Fowler on WJNO.
So that's something